Welcome to the Superconscious Success Podcast, where Jen and her Superconscious Success family co-hosts bring you valuable content each and every week on topics relating to manifestation, spirituality, and most of all, using your superconscious to manifest success in all areas of your life. Now on to today's episode.
Hey there, Superconscious Success fam. Just a very quick message. As I was editing this podcast, I realised that my old microphone was a little muffled, and so you'll notice that this episode was not of the best quality, but as you can see now I've gotten a new microphone and everything will be all good from now. So I do apologise, but you do get some excellent content from this particular episode. Thank you.
Hey there, Superconscious Success fam. Welcome back to another incredible interview. I am so blessed to have on my show today the Queen of Hearts and the Queen of Self-Love, Caroline Palmy. Caroline is a powerful, intuitive healer, energy healer, and she specialises in helping women over the age of 40 release their blocks so they're able to live a life full of purpose. She's a single mum of 3 beautiful children who she says are her greatest teachers, and I thoroughly agree with that. Now, Caroline resides in Switzerland, although she has lived in the UK and the USA as well. Now, although Caroline's passion is teaching others about self-love, I really want to chat to her today about angel healing, especially as she's qualified in 13 different areas of communicating with the angels. Now, after reading her story, I felt like I was literally reflecting my life. Like her, I'm an intuitive empath, I'm an earth angel, I'm a light worker, and I'm also a recovering doormat. I also had 2 near-death experiences, which connected me with the angels on a deeper level. Now, in this episode, we're going to go through so much amazing content about angelic healing and how you can connect with your angels and hear the message that they're sending to you. I'm so excited for Caroline to tell us her story now and to get stuck into the interview. Hey, Caroline, how are you going today?
Thank you so much for having me. I'm doing great. It's a beautiful 2022. It's a gorgeous year, and it can only get better, right?
It's going to be a great one. It's going to be a great one after a couple of years of people changing direction and figuring out what they're going to do with their life and everything else. I think 2022 is the year that we're going to see some massive change, and we can already see that by the number of new businesses that have been started, online businesses, the number of people that have quit their jobs and started working from home. Just in my circle, being able to see that many people. So it's pretty incredible to see the changes that are going to happen this year and to see how our roles in society change, because what we once knew is no longer.
It is, and I think so many more people are waking up to there must be more than just my everyday grid.
Yeah.
I'm done with the hamster wheel, and what's life about? The big questions, and that's opening them up for more spirituality, more connection to the angels and the realm, because otherwise it's a very sad life.
It is.
We don't have that connection.
And I know that this year it's been about, as you said, a lot of people are awakening. Their spirituality is, starting to rise. They're starting to become curious. Okay, so, why has all this happened in the world? What is the reason behind it? Why, is there a reason behind COVID coming? And we know that there was a reason behind it, and we know that, it has awakened a lot of people and there's a purpose. So, but it has been a real experience, an experiential change for people. So I'm excited to see what 2022 brings, because there's some good stuff on the way, I can just tell. But I really want you to tell us your story, because I was reading it on your website and I literally felt like it was reflecting myself. I looked and I went, oh wow, this is crazy, because it's kind of like my story, but you've obviously got different experiences, but having kids, we know what it's like. So go in and tell us all about you, Caroline.
Yeah, I'm born and raised in Switzerland here, but as Jennifer said, I lived in London and also in New York for a while. I have 3 now adult children, and it was the year 2008, end of the year 2008, when my then husband told me that he's going to leave. And for me, it was just like, wow. Okay. So that was sort of a big stop and then I just kept going, just keeping it up for my then very young children. And I soon realized, oh, it's easier. and so I just learned so much about emotional abusive relationship, that I'm an empath. I was told I was just turning 40 then, and I was told I'm too sensitive and I'm not good enough because I'm not up here. I'm always in my heart. And I thought, oh, something is truly wrong with me. You know, I have to toughen up, only to learn that I'm an empath and also an introvert. So I never felt comfortable among lots of people, and it drained me. And my sisters and my mom, they're all extroverts. And for me, it's sort of like another thing is deeply wrong with me. But learning to accept these parts of who I truly am, not having to fit in, not having to find my space, was really, really loving. And I know that, I think it was March 2009, I was sitting in my living room and I was sort of, the books are not mine, the paintings are not mine, the rocks are not mine, the furniture are not mine. And I looked around, I said sort of,
what's mine?
What's mine? Who am I? I realized that I just taken over. It's okay. He can get the books. He can get the music. He can get the posters. He can get the furniture. I didn't have a choice, or I didn't mind so much. And I thought sort of, but who am I? And I realized I was bending over backwards just to make this marriage work, to please that husband. And also I could sense that there is deep sadness, and I hoped or thought if I could love him more, I could heal him. But of course that can never happen. You know, it always needs both, you know. So recovering from that, reconnecting with myself, and I was just turning 40 in 2009, and I've been with that man since I was 20, so half my life back then. And I had to sort of go to my teenage years. What kind of music did I like? Because I lost
you lost a part of yourself, didn't you?
Exactly. And all that reconnecting, and that truly helped me getting through that whole divorce stuff and learning to stand up for myself, you know. And it's truly a gorgeous journey. And later I had a relationship with another man, and I was so happy and so in love, and that ended too. And at the end there, I just realized that, I am unlovable. No one loves me, you know. And I realized that I've only ever felt loved when I was in a relationship. And hence me staying in unhealthy relationships,
in a toxic relationship,
for too long. Because you just want to feel loved. And I thought sort of, but I'm so needy of love. I'm so needy of outside love. That can't be true. So then the journey to go within and find that love within, like accepting myself, embracing myself, and loving myself. And through that, I also gained some self-worth, because I always thought sort of, I'm not good enough, you know?
Yeah.
I all learned that. And by that time, my kids were a bit older. And as the universe goes, you know, if you don't listen to the nudges, it gives you a shock.
Louder. Yep.
And I went ice skating. Someone bumped into me, and I had a pretty bad fall back on my head. And I was lying on that ice, and in so much pain. My head hurt, and I had the electricity go up and down my legs and arms. And I thought, oh, and they carried me off the ice, and my kids still remember how much blood was on the ice. And I thought, oh gosh. But I had a concussion and a whiplash, and it was the time I could just do nothing. Nothing. And then friends brought around dinner for the kids and I was just lying in bed, and I felt so bad. And I said, oh, but those painkillers, I mean, the doctors told me, take the painkillers, take some time, and then it's going to go. And I said, yeah, but this just makes me nauseous. And I said, there must be other things. There must be other things. So I asked around, and I said, oh, EFT. I said, what's that? Okay.
Love
it's, for the ones that don't know, it's emotional freedom technique. It's the tapping, So I studied that. I learned all about that. And pranic healing, as someone else said. I said, oh, what's that? Okay, it's like prana, like the chi. And pranic healing goes also with the chakra and the senses. So I learned all that. I was really going dive deep into learning, because I just love that. I experienced it as a healing on me when I had my whiplash, and it helped so much. And I said, oh, I want to know more. I want to love to learn that. And so I studied those. And I was also already really interested in, it was Diana Cooper. She was in Zurich, and I visited a webinar, and I just loved the angels. And the funny thing is, my mom always brought me little angel figurines and everything. I said, oh gosh, Mom, with the angels. I mean, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I was still there. But it was, of course, she already knew I needed to connect to my angels. And so then during that pranic healing, it's very structured. So you have a guideline you have to work with. This, if you have sort of, let's say you work for a cold, a head cold or something, then you have the protocol, you have to go step 1 to 10, something with this chakra, with this color, and it wasn't allowing leeway. And when I worked with clients, I already saw so much more. I saw rose petals, and I said, oh, look at the kidney. I think you have to check out the kidney, and things like this that weren't in the protocol. So for me, it was too strict. And I really wanted to dive into that intuition. And so I learned about angelic healing, because that was, and I was sort of, wow, this is it, exactly that, letting my intuition guide, connect with the angels, and all of that. And I mean, with reading all those books, I had many fabulous experiences with my daughter when she couldn't breathe with another pneumonia. And I just had my hands so hot. And lying in my bed, I thought sort of, I can't go down to her. It would go. And I just imagined holding her front and back on her chest. And just let that energy go through her with Archangel Raphael, of course. And she stopped coughing, and she slept all night. And then she never had a pneumonia since, because she had on and off pneumonias all her life. So that was really great.
That's powerful.
And I so love that. And my work is always with the angels, with the realm, with Mother Earth, with the universe. It's that all combination. I stopped calling it angelic healing, because I feel it restricts me in another way. Or I was even hiding behind the angels. Just like the angels do, So I say,
I just wanted to, while you're on that topic, because when you look at it, and the angels, I've done that work with Raphael too. But the angels, we have so many other divine creatures, divine entities, like our higher self, for starters, that plays a part as well. So I understand what you mean when you say that I stopped calling it that, because you want to be able to move outside of that. And they all work together to help to create that healing. So yeah, I just wanted to point that out.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, I was hiding a bit behind the angels. It wasn't me. And so I call it now heart flow healing, because
and I love that.
Getting into the flow of the heart, because we are all actually, love is our true essence.
Yes.
We came from love, we are going back to love, and here on earth we're sort of, in one or another way, we are all looking for love.
We
essentially. So,
and unfortunately, a lot of us look for it outside of ourselves, and we don't actually find it within ourselves. And of course, nobody else is going to be able to love you if you don't love yourself. That's just the way that it is. So yeah, exactly.
And also what I learned, I mean, I always loved my children, but when I started to love myself and come from that deep grounded love within, it was amazing, the difference, the love I felt for my kids. It's just on a whole new level, So it's, unless you truly love yourself, you can't truly love someone else, even though we think we do. Yeah. It's just not the right thing.
No, exactly. Wow, that's quite a story, Caroline. You've got a lot of experience with the angels. Now, we're going to start off by you going over a little bit about what intuition is, and how can we define the difference between an intuitive healer and the angelic healer, because I think they are both connected. But so just explain a little bit to the listeners about what intuition is.
Intuition is the inner knowing, is the inner wisdom. And to differentiate as sort of like, intuition is always like big opening, and it's always very quick. It's sort of the first thing you get. And then our mind comes and says, yeah, but it can't, Or, for example, if you meet someone and you have the first nudge, it's like, oh.
Yeah.
And then you say, yeah, but he's or she is a friend of my friend, so they like him. I should like him, it's so
and most of the time, most of the time, it always works out that if you go against your intuition, then you're going to end up in trouble. That's just the way that it is.
That's it, and that's inner knowledge. And the other thing is later and sometimes more closing or up. So that's our brain, mind working. So intuition is that. Also that inner trust, that little voice that tells us it's going to be okay.
Yeah.
It's that knowledge that there must be more to life than just working 12 hours a day for endless years. And it's also that, that inner knowledge that tells you, that wants a little more, or sends you in the right direction. Or sometimes it's intuition that you already know when the phone is calling who that could be.
Yeah.
Or other things is, like I just had with a friend in the States, I hadn't had contact for maybe 6 years, and I just thought, I'm going to write to her. I hope her email still works, because she's not on social media. There are people like this, and I love them dearly. And I sent her an email. She said, oh, I've been thinking about you too. Yeah. So it's that, that
connection. Yeah, absolutely. And I think that I know that with myself, as you become more spiritually aware and you start to go through the awakening, I have what I call as downloads. And so these are like downloads from the universe, downloads from the angel, downloads. That superconscious success, the whole purpose behind that is about you connecting with that higher part of you, with that higher self, our superconscious. And so often I'll be driving along and all of a sudden these downloads just start happening, and they just flow in, and I go, wow, where the heck did that come from? And so they'll be kind of like, as you said, like knocks from the universe. They're kind of like, are you listening? Are you listening to what I'm saying? And then I'll often reply and go, for Pete's sake, I don't even have a pen. What am I supposed to do with this? It's always when you've got nothing around. You're driving along, or you're on a walk, or, and it's like, oh, for Pete's sake. But this is where a lot of my ideas start to come from, is these intuitive messages. And this is what I wanted to get into a little bit, because the angels are really big with sending us messages, and we will often miss those messages. And I want you to just, on a personal note, lately, I've been getting a lot of angel numbers, like crazy lot of angel numbers, especially 1111. They are just, every time I look at the clock, every time, like I turned to my oven the other day and it said 1111. I go on to, I look at the fuel gauge, it's 111. And I'm going, what the heck is going on here? So can you explain a little bit about these angel numbers and how they can sort of give you a little bit of a hint as to, as to maybe a direction you have to move towards, or what the biggest focus is, what the messages are the angels are trying to get to us?
Maybe as an example, I share an example I had, maybe 2-3 months ago. I saw 1111 a lot of times, you, on the clock everywhere. And I saw, okay, the angels are with me. That's sort of like a sure sign the angels are with me. And then I had a really bad information coming to me, and I thought, oh gosh, no. And then I had a massage client, and then I said to the angels, okay, if I see 1111, I know it's going to be okay. We can ask the angels. So I massaged, and then I looked up and it was 1111, and I had to laugh out loud. And luckily it was a good friend of mine, also an angel lover. She said, what are you laughing about? I said, so the angels just sent me a sign. You won't believe this. I was in this deep trouble. I was so fearful. I didn't know whether it's going to work out. And I told them, okay, let me know if I'm still on the right path and show me 1111. And I looked up and she said,
and it was.
It was. So 1111 is sort of like the basic, I am with you.
Yeah.
We support you. I mean, 22, 44, 44,
They're all ones I see too. It's crazy.
Gorgeous angel numbers. And I mean, I'm born on 8/8, so it's easy in the States. Here in Switzerland we have day and month, and in the States you have month and day. So I could never mix it up. It's always the same 8/8. But it's also, it's that connectedness. There is a higher power. We are supported. We are, the angels are with us. And I think especially now, with the whole last 2 years and now what's going on here in Europe, in Ukraine, the angels are really close and telling us, we are here. We are here. We are supporting you. And
because
it might not be the direct way, but things work out. Maybe not the way you think, because we can't even conjure up the solutions they have for us, but we are supported and everything is going to be all right. So I hope I answered that questions with the numbers.
Yeah, absolutely. And the thing is that I tend to see it the most if I am worried about something, or if something is on my mind, and then all of a sudden I'll turn around and it's just kind of like, or I'll see white feathers, and in the strangest of places, and I'll go, okay, my angels are with me. Everything's going to be okay. They're answering my messages, and I love it. Like I can go outside and I'll go for a walk through the park, and my husband just smiles and he picks up every feather that he sees, because it's I have a whole collection of them of all different colors, and of course we know with feathers they all represent something different. They all represent, there are some colors that are sent to you for love, some colors that are sent to you for abundance. So those, and the other signs that I tend to get a lot are butterflies. And these are, if I'm in a very high-spirited place, if I'm meditating or I'm at my favourite park, my husband and I go for a walk and we sit in our favourite park, and I'll see a lot of butterflies. Like they will just fly past me, or even come so close as to almost touch me. So what do they sort of play? Like, does the angels just find lots of different things that kind of resonate with each individual person to be able to send that message?
Yes, definitely. And for me, sometimes feathers and butterflies and even coins.
Yeah, coins.
Yes, connected to the angels, but also to past loved ones. You know, sometimes when I see a special butterfly, I think, oh, that's my father sending me a message. I mean, butterflies, they are so beautiful, so gentle, and so uplifting. I mean, I don't know a person who doesn't smile when she sees a butterfly. This is just uplifting, like rainbows too. You know, this is sort of that.
Oh, we just paused.
It doesn't send me. The person doesn't send me a message. Says, "Have you picked up? Have you found coins lately?" She says, "Yeah." I says, "Oh, that was the sign," because it's like listening to the angels. You know, we can sort of hear them in the inner ear as a voice, or see them or something, and that's how intuition works too, or sense it or know. And sometimes people focus on one thing. I want to see an angel. Yeah. And they don't even realize, or because they're shutting off all the other channels because they are so focused on seeing, they miss the messages they get as a voice or as a sense or as an inner knowing. And it's the same with signs. If we're focusing on just one sign, you know, sometimes it can be a sign. For example, when 7 years ago, when I was on my very first podcast interview, I was so nervous, you know. And then I said, okay, angels, send me a sign. And then there came a moving van, and it was Gabriel stood up there, and that was the company's name. I said, okay, Archangel Gabriel, you helped me speak. Perfect. And then I could relax. And sometimes it's even, a street sign or in music.
Yeah.
For me,
you can get messages.
Exactly. And then just, you're only human. And I was like, oh, right. Yeah.
Yeah, song will often come on and you'll go, oh, that message was just for me. And talking about coins, and my husband and I, we went out for the day today, and all of a sudden I get onto the train and I go up to sit in my favourite seat, and sitting on the seat is about 5 or 6 different coins. And it's just like it's just like they've just been dropped there. And I went, oh, cool, thank you, universe. It's always a sign. Okay, there's more on its way. So it's kind of like a real it's exciting once you can actually start to listen to what they have to say, and and to be able to communicate on a deeper level. You've got to be open to this. So if somebody is not yet 100% sure, how would they become more open to it and actually connect with their angels?
I mean, I would say sit quietly, meditate.
Yep.
Go for a walk in nature, because there you're really close to the universe. Or sometimes even at night, look at the moon or stars, just be mesmerized by it, and be open. Like I said, don't focus on something. Just go out there and say, okay, I am just open to receive anything in any form, and take that time, because sometimes we go for please help, please help, please help, and we say that over an hour and we don't stop and listen. It's like we having a conversation, but I would be constantly speaking and asking you something and continue speaking. I wouldn't hear your answer or insights.
Exactly, because you're not. Yeah.
Exactly. You're not open. So, and connect maybe also with crystals.
Yeah.
If you love crystals. I mean, my rose quartz is my self-love quartz.
Yeah.
You can also I love oracle cards, you can dive into them, or just sit quietly in a garden or anywhere and just be. And I think the other thing is do something joyful.
Yes.
Like maybe remember as a child, you maybe just lay on the ground and observe the clouds, or
because they love to be around joy. That's the thing.
Exactly.
And they will appear if you're in that state of joy. It's just and I think we do need to be open and recognize that they are there. It's and I have had a number of people on my podcast that have spoken about angels, because it's something that I love. And what we were talking about is that we know of the angels, Raphael and Gabriel and Uriel and Michael and all of them. We know about them, but there are hundreds of thousands of other angels, working angels, that are there to help us whenever anything's going wrong. So we've had, I know I've done it myself where, I've got technical issues or there's computer issues or something, and I've called upon the computer angel or whatever you want to call it, to be able to help you out. So, it's, and I've had people say, oh, well, how do you know what the name of the angel is? Well, the angels don't care what you call them. They really don't.
Exactly.
And
you don't have to know who to call. You just say, please, angels, help me. And they know exactly who to direct towards that. So it's quite miraculous. And I think that we can really learn a lot from it. And you can start to live in the flow of life if you start to just relax about all of this and ask them for help. Now, there was one other thing I wanted to cover with you, which because I have absolutely loved this conversation. As you can tell, I'm very passionate about it. But being an empath, we talked about being an empath. And being an empath, although it can be really difficult at times, because like you said, I'm also an introvert. And I'm also an empath. And so my husband will often, I'll be at a party and I'll just nick off. And he'll know, okay, she needs to recharge. Because as an introvert, other people's and an empath together, other people's energy can drain you. And for those that, don't understand about empaths, or we feel other people's energy quite deeply, and we tend to take on other people's energies, and so we have to recharge. And if we don't recharge, then we go like this. And so my husband will often go, okay, she's out by the pool, she's recharging, she's all good, she'll be back in 10 minutes. But there is such a thing in our lives as empaths that we call energy vampires, or we call people that are just naturally will drain you. And the angels are really good at helping to cut the cords that are associated with this energy sucking or this lack of energy. Now, can you explain to our listeners exactly what cord cutting is, why it's really important that we do it, and how the angels can help us with that? Because there are a number of different ways that we can do it, through visualization, through a lot of different things, but the angels are really good at doing that. So explain a little bit about it and why it is important that we do that, especially if you're dealing as an empath. Yeah. So when you just connect, even in the supermarket, just with a person, you have sort of like a little maybe hairline energy cord connected, and or sometimes even on a person you think, out goes the energy cord. And the more you think about it, or the more it just gets bigger and bigger. And of course, the bigger it gets, the more energy can drain from your system. And it's not so much that other people consciously,
no, it's not a conscious thing,
suck your energy. It's just like, or you have maybe you also have friends that they love to be with you and you have a time, but after 2-3 hours, you go like,
yeah, I've had that.
and you feel like, okay, something is not right here, and they always say, oh, it's so great to be with you. I love to see you again. And you go,
they feel great, don't they? They feel great because they've just zapped you of your energy. So they're happy.
Yeah. And so first of all, be careful with who you meet and listen to your own intuition. Whether that's good to connect or whether that's maybe every other year or so, so to cut those cords. And the most important part is that the cord of love can never be severed. So I do it with, the youngest is just turned 18. He's still sort of a teenager, but especially as moms with teenager, how draining they
absolutely
can be. So don't be afraid to cut the cords, because cutting the cords is just like taking a shower or going for a car wash, and then just the bright, sparkly love is there without all the dust or the other annoying things that come up. And I just love to call on Archangel Michael and imagine.
I do too. He's my favorite.
To just go around on all sides, and cut the cords. And then I sort of let water wash over me to just go it all out. We can even, with my clients, I even have Archangel Raphael to pull out the ends of the cords. It's like it's like pulling out weed out of the system, so it's really clean. And
I love that. Yeah.
It's just and
so this is something that's really important. Like you said, if you've got teenagers, or if you've got kids and you're feeling like you're really drained around them, you're feeling like at the end of the day you're just ready to collapse, it's really important, maybe every morning, that you do a cord cutting. Every time you go to bed, anytime you're feeling like you're drained, do a cord cutting. Ask the angels to come in. Just visualize. You can visualize this cord cutting, like you said. And then bring in the angels to help you to release it. So I think that's really really an important point for those parents out there that are going through this, because we know our little ones have their own stuff going on, and they it's probably a good thing for them to do too.
Yeah, and they know how to push our buttons.
Yeah, totally. 100%. So, wow. Okay. Well, that's cool. And I think it's definitely something, especially if you're an empath and you're finding that you're drained, then it's definitely something worth doing. So thank you. That is amazing. Is there anything else you would like to tell us about the angels and how they can help us, because we are so blessed to have them around us. And and the thing is, the angels they're very good. They don't need you to believe. They're there for you whether you do or not. So it's like, whether you're a believer, they're still there to help you, because when it comes down to it, the angels, pure love. That's all it is. It's pure light. It's pure love. And so it's important that we understand that it's not about, I'm a good person, I'm a bad person, why would they help me? But, if I ask them to help me, they're not going to be able to help anybody else. One thing I did learn from one of the other podcasts I did was that they can be in so many different places at once that you're never stepping on anyone else's toes. So if you need anything, you just ask. Isn't that right, Caroline?
Absolutely. And especially if you're worrying about someone, why not stop that worrying and just send them the angels and ask? What I did with my teenagers, sort of ask their guardian
I've done
angels.
That.
We all have guardian angels to look after them. and maybe even
and let your worry go.
Archangel Michael, and then let the worry go, because otherwise we send that energy of the worry of what might happen there, and we all know wishes can come true,
Well, yeah.
So,
and I remember that when when my daughter was going through some stuff at school, and I would send her to school, but I would I'd ask Archangel Michael to put a protection around her for that particular day, and it made a massive difference. Just and then you let it go. And like you said, you don't want to spend your whole life worrying about another person. Trust they've got their own. They've got their higher selves looking after them. They've got their guardian angels looking after them. We've got to trust in that.
Yeah, and trust in life, and that we all have to go through certain experiences to become who we were meant to be. And the angels are here. Exactly. Ask them. I love Mother Mary to help us heal the heart, and also, of course, Archangel Azrael, if we're grieving and love to connect with our past loved one, or just help us through the process. And there are so many more angels, and just play with them. And there's also the fairies and the unicorns and the mermaids and everything. So just explore and don't fixate on one angel. Exactly. Just play with them. And if you don't get insights, ask before you go to bed. If you have a problem, maybe
that's when they'll come in your dreams.
In dreams, exactly.
Yeah,
they're always around. And even if you don't feel them or realize they're still here.
And the more that you practice, and the more that you connect, then the more that you're going to hear those messages, and the more you're going to feel it. Like sometimes I'll literally be sitting there and I'll start to feel like there's stuff on my shoulders, and it's kind of like your guardian angels wrapping their wings around you. And you can kind of almost feel it happening, which is really cool when that sort of happens. Some people will see them. Some people will, see the colours of the angels. Other people hear them. So just remember, everybody's different, and how you connect is what's going to, it's going to be individual. So, but definitely practice it. And I think Caroline has brought so much important information today that is going to help you it kind of brings you that sense of peace, doesn't it? It brings you that sense of, I'm all right.
And that trust in life, and inner peace and calm. And we can all do that because we only have the present moment. If we keep worrying or still in pain of the past, and the angels can help us with releasing the past and also guide us. Let yourself be guided on your path, especially if you're wondering what's my next step. Get inspired.
Absolutely. That is awesome, Caroline. Thank you so much for that. Now, can you let our listeners know, what are you up to at the moment? How can they get in touch with you? Do you do angel healing? Do you do distance angel healing? What's happening in that regard?
Yes, you can contact me through my website. It's carolinepalmy.com. You feel free to do the self-love quiz or sign up as a freebie to Mother Earth, Mother Gaia meditation or anything. I do distance healing, and I have, what's really great is I have that package of 12 sessions. We first start with healing, releasing the past. Then we are opening our hearts. Then we prioritize ourselves. And then we emerge and evolve into the person we were always meant to be. And that's hope. And there's always hope. And that's a wonderful way to go deep, one-on-one each week, because I've done single sessions. They are great. They're amazing. People feel calm. People feel free. but
it's not the transformation.
Exactly. It's not the transformation you can get from a 12-week one-on-one personalized healing. And love to see you there, love to connect with you. I'm also on Instagram, and happy to connect.
Awesome.
And let me know that you came through this podcast.
Absolutely. And all of that information is going to be in the show notes. And this will be on both YouTube and audio. So remember, listeners, to make sure that you subscribe to the channel and head across to your favorite podcast player where you're going to be able to listen to this episode again and listen to it over and over again so that you can really start to learn to connect with those angels and to hear the messages that you're needing to hear. So thank you so much for being with us today, Caroline. It was lovely. I've thoroughly enjoyed it, and I'll be sure to speak to you shortly.
Thank you so much for having me.